Good afternoon, SpeedGaming fans. I'm Kachuri, and welcome to today's Link to the Past League Season 3, Week 7 co-op info share randomizer race between Two Pure, Two Furious and the Spoilers. Joining me today for this playoff-defining match is my co-com, Esmar. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. This is going to shape up to be a somewhat important match in depending on how it goes. Both of these teams, Two Pearl, Two Furious, on the one hand, is eliminated from playoff contention, unfortunately, but the Spoilers still has a chance to fight for some seeding here.
The Spoilers aren't even guaranteed that, like, they're at 27 points. They haven't even locked in their playoffs. They need this win to guarantee that it is locked up. Going on right now, let me make sure, let me double check the schedule. I can't find the schedule now. The last locationers is going against I Like Big Boots. If I Like Big Boots wins and the Spoilers lose today, the Spoilers will have to hope that Triple Dino Disaster lose their games. So
Triple Dino Disaster also holding the same 9-4 record as the Spoilers currently, so they are tied in the division right now.
And so Spoilers and Triple Dino Disasters took a game from each other, so it will go down to a race-off. One tiebreaker to decide that. But the Spoilers will be guaranteed playoff spots if they win this game today. On Two Pure, Two Furious sides, the green side, we have Scaryolive and Trinexx. And on the Spoiler side, the yellow side, we have Shadyforce and Dr. Mari Zero.
Yeah, and as mentioned before, this is a co-op info share, so same as week 1, I believe. You know, both teammates playing the same seed. The one wrinkle thrown in is Randomizer, so all enemies and all bosses will be shuffled. It's a nice hammer there in Sank. It's not going to be too impactful since, you know, obviously both teams are going to be seeing that very soon.
It's still whipping, though. If we find some rough enemy sets up coming up here, it doesn't have much range, but you can throw the hammer down to help things out. Oh, those little bombs. 2 damage.
And a Lionel in front of the Grove there. So this is the one thing in Randomizer is your execution really matters early on in the seed, because you never know when you're going to have a late Dark World enemy, a late dungeon enemy that can one-shot you or two-shot you right at the start of the game. And getting those fast early checks is really paramount to getting a good co-op time.
Oh yeah, for sure. We are going to go off the average of the team. So once Scaryolive and Trinexx has finished, we average out their times. Boom, that's their time. Whichever team has the lowest time will get the 3 points. And it looks like
Scaryolive turning in that fish there as Trinexx gets a nice set of enemies there in the Uncle area. Those little wiggly woos there are pretty easy to deal with. You don't want to see Lionels or like rollers there.
Yeah. Especially with little hearts. Speaking of hearts, we found a heart container. We also found the Moon Pearl in the well. So we are now 1 item away from Dark World access, that being the glove.
Yeah, and early game Dark World access, again, in Randomizer, you don't have to worry about the Dark World enemies since you have to worry about them everywhere, so that's not going to stop us. Chicken House has some guards in it.
And that's an unfortunate death.
Yeah, it's rather costly, and as much as those guards in there kind of suck, that's a very manageable enemy configuration. It's just sometimes you can get caught off guard because you're very, very used to seeing chickens in that room.
Well, there's our glove. That's Dark World access at 2 minutes in. We did find a sword in Blind's hideout with that glove, so that sword will help out getting through Chicken House. More likely, we'll probably see Scaryolive go ahead and just go straight to Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, so Trinexx is doing the front of escape here. And that Village of Outcasts check gives Trinexx time to go to Kakariko, pick up the stuff that's, you know, important, and then they can go from there based off of what Scaryolive finds. So that's really good information there.
Oh! But Trinexx does give out some very important information, telling us that the Cane of Samara is in the Boomerang chest.
Yeah, now, it's entirely possible that the Cane of Samara is not hard required for the seed. If Turtle Rock and Misery Mire are both pendants, and the Ganon's Tower Big Key is not on the right side, then it's possible we don't need it. But generally, you do like to have it, just
Oh yeah.
because of Ice Palace. It saves, I think the technical term is a buttload of time in there.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And it makes the Ice Palace was a puzzle box kind of dungeon. It makes it a straightforward dungeon. All right, Trinexx finds a heart container at the end of Hyrule Dungeon. We'll now be going to get the Dark World access. I mean, we have like basically everything that's not Death Mountain open to us right now.
Yeah.
The
big world access items that we would need at this point would be Hookshot or Mirror, both of which would allow access to the right side of Death Mountain,
well,
as the second glove.
We did find flippers in Chicken House. That's what was behind there. Scaryolive has flippers. Dr. Mari is going to go ahead and do a hula hand strat.
Yeah, did the flippers show up on the spoilers side there?
No.
Oh, no, because shadyforce is still working on CAC.
Yeah,
so
shadyforce died. Now has the sword to handle the guards, though. And we're going to see some Hype Cave at 4 minutes.
Yeah, and there's that hula hand safe room. A guy wins a contest, and his name is immortalized in a room that is kind of hard to get to by accident. I've managed to do it twice.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then they actually take his name out every future version of the game, which is weird. Oh, we get our map check. This time it's Dark World, and that's all crystals except for TR. TR's a pendant this time around.
So that early cane, not necessarily the biggest of boons here, because the cane being in the inventory does allow for a potential Turtle Rock dip if other items are seen beforehand. The medallion to open it.
Oh, that's a
fire rod.
Horrible back of escape room.
Oh, those heart drops though. Those are coming in handy there.
Saving him just because there was a Lionel just shooting away back there.
And not much return there. The possibility was open to check the back of the Dark Cross area, going backwards, but decides it's not worth it, or maybe Dr. Marty checked it already. I doubt it though. It's kind of hard to keep track of all 4 of these screens at the same time. The divergence is pretty wild already.
Yeah, and you would expect it because you want to make sure you check all the locations the fastest. I mean, the fastest way to know where everything is to go to all 216 locations first, right? And a whole heart container for Scaryolive, and that's going to be grabbed. You never know where you're going to run into a dungeon. We do have full boss shuffle. All the bosses are going to be in the game, and 3 of them are going to appear twice. There are some limitations to that, of course. And we'll talk about the limitations if it comes up.
Yeah, so I think Dr. Marty is giving us the first look here into the South Shore area. A mini Moldorm cave is a lot easier to deal with this time around.
Yep. Main Moldorm cave always has enemies that can be killed by bombs in there. And it has an ice rod, followed by the bombs, followed by a heart container, shovel, and a master sword. That's actually pretty nice mini Mordorm. Hype Cave wasn't too much, by the way. It was mostly money. We're going to see Catfish now.
Ooh, flute on Catfish.
Oh,
that's an easy check to skip, especially when you've got the flippers for all those logical Zora area checks, and you don't have the mirror to route both of those in together. Catfish is kind of easy to orphan in that way.
Yeah, no, don't want to get hit by that chain chomp. And we get the other map check. Pendants on Eastern, green pendant on Hera, with the last crystal being on Desert Palace. I don't... Normally, a lot of people don't like doing that Catfish check unless they have flippers and mirror. But Scaryolive, knowing it's always good to be thorough, finds it. Quake and Ice Rock Cave. This has been a very heavy item beginning here.
Yeah. So this is likely to be turning into what we're looking for here is obviously you like to see boots, but we need to find the fire rod, and we need to find the bow. And the mitts, obviously.
And like 20 other items.
Yeah, but those are going to be the big ones that really start to, put things in motion, because we don't have a lot of crystal dungeons that are actually clearable at this stage.
But this is also co-op. Dipping into dungeons doesn't hurt you as much, especially if you do find something there.
Yeah, and depending on what we find out, it really is a matter of figuring out when it is that you need to start making those checks just for density. So I feel like before too long, we'd probably end up seeing Palace of Darkness.
Palace will be big. The bow, not as important in the Randomizer as most other, randomizer seeds, because it only really blocks one dungeon. You need the arrow to hit the statue's eye.
Yeah, so the bow lock side of Pod is not bow locked. So Pod actually is quite a bit more available than it otherwise is. And given that the Pod key logic is the way it is, you can get to a lot of Palace of Darkness with just the hammer.
Mm-hmm. You need the hammer to open the pathway. Even if you didn't have the hammer, there's still a guaranteed key in that area to get you through the main door.
Now, with that flute in hand, that opens up the possibility to go up the mountain, but I would assume that we are going to see these runners hold off until they get access to the right side at the very least. If the mirror shows up, they can get over there on the top. If the hookshot shows up, they can get over on the bottom. If either of those show up, it's going to be interesting to see how long they decide to wait, because if mitts show up, then they can make that trip very efficient, since they know they don't need to clear either of the dungeons up there necessarily.
All right. Well, speaking of digging, Shadyforce showed us what was hidden at the flute spot, while Dr. Mari is doing the dig game. A guaranteed item between 1 and 30 digs. It's going to be the same amount of digs for all of our runners, and it's just for 50 rupees.
And Trinexx activating that flute. I feel like this is the time that you make the pod play. The overworld checks are drying up a little bit. You don't have anything super dense that you still have to check. There are still the flipper checks, but I believe Scaryolive would be doing that over on 2 Pearl, 2 Furious' side.
Probably will do some rupee farming. Take about 2 or 3 minutes to get the 270 rupees needed. But getting out the flute, this could be a Nagina check to the better rupee farm spot.
You also get a little insight into the desert ledge item.
No, it looks like we're just going to Orphan Zora today. We're getting Sarosula's Closet right now. I just saw the Uncle Bomb pack and nothing else. I mean, Eastern is a dungeon we can dip. It is a pendant, but there's still 3 items up for grabs in there. Magic powder, okay, that's bat with half magic, okay.
Yeah, unfortunately no bottles, so they couldn't fill it up at the ferry, but you take what you can get at this point.
That's a pretty loaded waterfall ferry.
Yeah, that it doesn't really have too many implications, but it's going to be nice to have. It doesn't necessarily make anything faster for these runners, but it definitely sort of makes basically the entire rest of the game a whole lot
Especially
safer.
with the half magic, there's a chance you might fight 2 Trinexxes and 2 cold stairs. So that half magic definitely will help.
Yeah, so Dr. Marty making the Eastern Palace dip there on the lower right.
It's a really big key, something you like to see. Small chance that you will just pick up the next 3 items on your way. You don't have to worry about any of the dark rooms without a mirror. Bombs in the chess game. It looks like Shadyforce is going to go ahead and dip all of Village of Outcasts.
Trinexx is either going to do Hobo here. I imagine after this, it's going to be either the Eastern Palace play or
Hookshot on Magic Powder.
That's pretty good. I don't think the spoilers have made it quite that far yet. Following those flippers all that way.
So we're going to see Scaryolive go straight to the mountain.
Now, I imagine at this point we would see Trinexx start. This would be a good time for Trinexx to think about doing that Eastern Palace or Palace of Darkness dip, just to give Scaryolive some time to find some stuff up on the mountain. You see him dodging the bird there so that he can go grab the hookshot himself. As Shadyforce heads into the front of Thieves Town, another very accessible location, and the lamp shows up.
Yeah, you definitely want the lamp in Randomizer because you don't know what you can't see, basically.
Interestingly, I do not think Shadyforce or Dr. Marty have found the flute on Catfish yet. So that lamp showing up gives them a way to logically access the items on the mountain. So that might actually bite them because it leads them away from the flute.
See how that goes. You will hope that, within the next 20 minutes, one of the teammates will go up there. But we get a bush crab on the mountain. I'm not going to see what it's hiding. Trinexx is going to Eastern now.
Yeah, like I said, this is a good time to, just get some other checks done and give Scaryolive time to figure out what the value of this mountain play is. If it's not huge value, then Trinexx can wait to go up.
Yeah, Mari just showed all of us the ugliness in the dark rooms. At least some enemies show up in the dark, like the eye doors.
Yeah, a little insult to injury there, knowing that Shadyforce just picked up the lamp.
Alright, looks like Paradox Cave is pretty empty. We can go ahead and go into Hera with it. Oh, there's one.
There it is. Last check.
I spoke way too soon.
That's actually really good for Scaryolive because now that opens up the Dark Death Mountain checks. All of them, I believe. So that's every check on Death Mountain other than the ones hidden in the Turtle Rock dungeon.
And Spike Cave.
Some of which are locked. Spike Cave is not yet in Logic, though it is available technically speaking. I don't think Scaryolive has any way to do it. And also the Ether Tablet.
We also had Vanilla Blind in Thieves Town, which Shadyforce does take care of. Does get the first boss kill on the board at 15 minutes.
Still has to check the rest of the dungeon though. That boss is available right off the bat. I don't think Shadyforce cleared out the entire back first.
Somewhere Dr. Mari found Bottle, and that probably was in Eastern because we just saw Sick Kid check. And that was joining for our heart container. Scaryolive is dipping through Pendant Hera, so both of our runners are dipping Pendant Dungeons.
Yeah, at this point, this makes the most sense. You don't have the mirror, so you get as many checks as you can out of this mountain clear as you can. And probably finish with Spiral Cave, and then go and check Dark Death Mountain with Super Bunny and, and Hookshot Cave. Both of those are accessible.
This also will give our runners the green pendant, which is an item you can turn to Shroshla for something. Shadyforce is now dipping another dungeon, which is Skullwoods. Can't do much here unless we find the Fire Rod.
Yeah, there are 2 items hidden around here in an unfair number of chests. If he's really unlucky, then all 2 of them are going to be in the back. But it's just as likely that one of those extremely important items is here in the front side.
All right, Scaryolive can't get the big key in the basement. It's fire locked. We know where the lamp is, but T-Pure Too Furious doesn't know that.
Yeah, it looks like Scaryolive decided to give up on the Hera pot there. Look, he was going for the bomb setup, but with those items being out of Logic, well, technically they're not because the lamp is freely accessible, but so that could be a little bit of bad news. That Lionel is definitely bad news.
Yep.
That's pretty rough. that item is still in logic, unfortunately. Not a fun time. Those Lionels are a very rare enemy. There are 3 of them in the game, in the vanilla game. But when they can be anywhere, they can really mess with early game routing because you can only damage up with level 3 damage, which is Tempered Sword Slash or Master Sword Spin plus. And if they're in a corridor like that, they just run away from you and kill you with fireballs that do massive damage.
Yeah, you only are meant to see them as you're going to gain this hour. Like, you're meant to have like 15 hearts, gold sword, at least blue mail, you know. But we'll probably see Scaryolive do Dark Death Mountain now.
Yeah, foregoing that Spiral Cave check, it can be dangerous, but in co-op, it's not that big a deal, especially knowing that Trinexx is going to be going up there eventually for the mitts, and hopefully Trinexx gets another shot to get that item out of Spiral Cave and check it.
Ooh,
Marty taking a death.
Yeah. So now we're looking for the mirror. That'll give us all the checks around Mire and Desert we can do. Plus,
Yeah, Fire Rod or Bombos would let us clear Ice Palace as well.
there's a Tempered Sword. Scaryolive's like, where were you a few minutes ago? Probably here. I mean, you don't move, but still.
Well, the Tempered Sword can move around if you pick up the other sword upgrade somewhere else. Tempered Sword becomes a gold sword. Now pop over and check the Turtle Rock Medallion.
Quake, we have Quake.
Quake, and we do have the Cane of Samaria. Scaryolive doesn't have it in hand, so it's possible that Trinexx decides to take a look at that one.
But we are getting a look at Hookshot Cave. Okay.
Yeah, so what Scaryolive finds in there kind of determines how good of an idea it is to send Trinexx to potentially dip Turtle Rock. Because it's very possible that the Fire Rod is in that first left side chest in Turtle Rock there. Oh, but no, it doesn't look like it because Trinexx actually hasn't picked up the Quake Medallion yet.
And they're going to hope that they don't have to do that.
And that's one of the things in co-op that's it's not of the utmost priority to sort of focus on, making sure that, you know, whoever goes somewhere has the opportunity to do certain checks. Those medallions are kind of hard to figure out because when you pick them up, you never know exactly how important they're going to end up being.
What is important, though, is Bombos is what we need to get into Mire. We get some invincibility, and we get that mirror! That mirror could not be in a better place right now.
Yeah, that's great, because it allows us to... Well, unfortunately for Scaryolive and Trinexx, neither of them have a lamp yet, so Desert isn't clearable.
I'm surprised neither of them has dipped D-Sound yet.
Yeah, it's, I mean... They've sort of been following the trail of crumbs in other directions for now. They'll get there eventually.
Wow.
They find the bow in Checkerboard Cave. And that's before either of them dip into Pod, where Shadyforce is right now.
That's actually pretty massive. I wonder if this is going to send Scaryolive to Pod to get through it, because he knows that the sick kid wasn't anything. Because Trinexx did pick up the B in the big key chest of Eastern. I don't think there was another item there. But we are getting a dip into Desert to see if we need boots.
Yeah, see if we need boots, see what items are accessible in here. For all we know, it could be the Fire Rod, and then, hey, you can just go ahead and clear Desert, as long as it's not boots locked here, which it is not.
Okay, we get the big key, so now we get the small key from the chest on the left.
Yeah, it looks like Dr. Marty picked up the boots. I
Oh,
know
the
where
old
everybody else
man
was.
has boots. Saving the old man gives you boots. Oh, wow.
That's big with the lamp they picked up and the lamp that Two Pearl Two Furious still does not have. It's actually a little interesting that neither of them decided to go and do that after fluting up there. However, in Enemizer, doing that in the dark is a little spookier. There are those 4 bats. You don't know what they're gonna be this time.
Yeah, I mean, that's great news for the spoilers because, you know, they've been behind on these checks. They also need to get to the catfish to get their flute just so they can enable half of this and get their hookshot from Magic Bat, which Dr. Marty's about ready to get that hookshot right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, neither of them have found that flute. So they're gonna have to find some reason to make their way up to that that catfish check, which, as I mentioned before, can sometimes be kind of a tall order. That kind of is easy to make that check the one place that you hope your next thing doesn't show up at.
Oh, I think Trinexx is about ready to do Thieves Sound to get that lamp.
Yeah, the question then would become, you know, at what point do they end up finding those boots on Old Man?
Hopefully right away.
Well, the thing is though, they've already gone up the mountain. It's gonna be what would they be going back up for? You know, just Old Man. It's not a hugely long check, but they've got a whole host of other things they can do at this point. I mean, after that lamp, my mind in their position would be going straight to Pod, because that puts that entire dungeon in logic.
When Mari's about ready to find that mitts, Shadyforce is probably... Oh, there's the bombos! That's bombos from Maya right there. So we're basically now just looking for Fire Rod.
Fire Rod? Yeah, and the mirror showed up in Meyer Shed.
Yep.
So yeah, the big determining factor here for the spoilers is when they find that flute, because that's going to lead them directly to, you know, half of the items they need for Go mode.
Scaryolive's having some issues in Skull Woods, and Trinexx did pick up the lamp.
Yeah, so we've got Fire Rod from Go mode, 25, just under 24, 6 minutes in. Now, I don't recall where that Quake medallion showed up.
Ice Rock Cave.
Ice Rod Cave, okay, yeah. So that would explain why Trinexx hasn't seen fit to go and get it. With the flute, it's pretty easy to go get that relatively quickly once you know you're ready to go up to Turtle Rock.
I don't feel like we're going to be going to Turtle Rock, however. I mean, there's 2 chests that could be blocking your way to the back by the Fire Rod. So, I mean, it could be just one of those things where...
Yeah, if the Fire Rod is in that first chest, they do need to head in there. But, yeah, the odds are definitely against that. Seen a lot of lag there in the front of Thieves Town. And Dr. Marty now setting up for the Harapot that Scaryolive, I think, dipped out on. Yep, giving it one shot and then out. Not worth investing that time on a pendant dungeon that only has 2 items in it.
All right.
Or no, he's resetting. I think for the anti-fairy, perhaps.
Okay.
I'm already doing a little dance there. Shadyforce is about to find that hookshot.
Trinexx did get the kill on Blind.
Yeah, so that's the first crystal on their side. Meanwhile, Scaryolive, after Skull Woods, is going to go check a couple things that the spoilers were unable to do after their tip of Skull Woods, which is check these North Dark World checks here with King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge. King's Tomb technically in the Light World, but
Can't check
King's Tomb can't. Yeah, King's Tomb is unavailable to them because they don't have the boots.
Dr. Marty is opening up TR while he's here.
Now, that Cane of Samaria was where again? I remember it being...
It was
very
early.
Yeah, very, very early.
Hyrule Castle Escape, that's right.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. The second to last chest. So that explains why only
Boomerang
one runner on each team has it. It's a pretty... Again, a late game item that you don't want to waste time picking up before you know you need it.
So now Shadyforce has the boots. It looks like Scaryolive is going to go ahead and dip Swamp, while Trinexx is going to do the whole Smith chain. Got a pesky Igor defending the hammer pegs. Also, I'd like to thank Ricky of Kokiri, one of our 2 amazing trackers today, for pointing that out to us. Duodeca is our other tracker and helps set us up today. So big thanks to both of them. Without them, we wouldn't have been able to get this show on the road last minute. Only tracker. Oh, I thought Duo was helping. Okay. Well, ignore what I said about Duo. Oh.
No, everything you said about Duo. Duo is terrible. How could he not help Ricky out? Yeah, so we got Trinexx doing the Smith chain here as Scaryolive dips into Swamp. Scaryolive doesn't have the Cane of Samaria, so won't be able to use that setup for the diver down. However, it does have bombs, so that option is still on the table.
There's our Zora money if the runners decide they want to go that route. T-Pure 2 Furious needs to get those boots because Shadyforce and Dr. Mari is cleaning up some checks quickly. I think Shadyforce is about ready to dip into TR. It's like, hey, you know, we can find the fire rod here, and that'll be awesome, or whatever. Nope, doesn't have the Quake.
Yeah, those boots are not necessary to finish the seed. So it's really a time sink to not pick them up. But the question is still, you know, when are Shadyforce and Dr. Marty going to check the catfish for the flute? They will be able to clean up everything else quickly with the boots, so they will get there at some point. But if it takes them a while and they don't see fit to check it earlier on, then that could be keeping them away from a lot. The flip side of that is, of course, it's keeping them away from so much that they're going to run out of stuff to check in fairly short order.
Well, Dr. Mari's about to take Dark Cross. If there's something here that's massive, it's not. Not massive. Moving on. Turning in the purple chest. Let's see what's the reward of doing the whole Smith chain. Nothing. Moving on. Alright, Trinexx, you gotta save the old man to give the information about the boots to Scaryolive.
Looks like the pod dip, or rather the pod, I think clear at this point for them. And I really think this makes a lot more sense than going and checking Old Man, given that this dungeon is completely clearable. Scaryolive sets up the bomb diver down setup.
Gets bombs back as a reward. King's Tomb is only 20 bucks.
That's good news here for Two Pearl, Two Furious. If that was the fire rod, that would be a little spooky of a situation for them.
Oh wow, two $300 hordes in swamp.
And so that Bombos showed up in
Dark Maze.
Dark Maze, yeah, of Pod. So Trinexx is going to be finding that, and then we'll be able to go to Ice Palace, where Shady Force is right now. So we'll see what Shady Force finds in here. Scaryolive dipping back into swamp, I believe, probably to check the big chest and or left side.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how many items, that could still be, you know, 2 items. I don't think we found the big key, so...
And Shady Force coming up on another check here in Ice Palace.
No, it's red, but not the fire rod we're looking for.
Yeah, really, it's just the fire rod that we're waiting on as spectators here for no mode here, as we call it. Once the fire rod has appeared, we know exactly what both teams are going to need to find, or where specifically they're going to need to find it.
Alright, Mari's not fighting the blind fight.
Now, at this point, I would say if 2 Pearl, 2 Furious is able to find the fire rod first, then they have a massive lead.
Well, yeah, no, they'll actually be in go mode if they find the fire
rod. Whereas the spoilers will still have to find something else. If the spoilers end up finding the flute before 2 Pearl, 2 Furious finds the fire rod, then they have a very real chance of catching up and evening this out. It really just depends on how deeply and how inconveniently that fire rod is hidden. In terms of inconvenient checks, we've got Spike Cave, which is in Logic. We've got Upper Hera. Turtle Rock would be a slow place for both teams to find it.
We still have Zora.
Yeah, Zora. Left side swamp here could show up here, which would be pretty big map.
That had to be the big key. Oh yeah, we never finished Spiral Cave.
Yeah, we never finished Spiral Cave with that Lionel there.
Trinexx is trying to get some Zora money.
You know, so all that being the case, that does give some sort of incentive for 2 Pearl, 2 Furious to go back up there and find the boots. But at this point, finding the fire rod would be much bigger for them than finding the boots.
Of course, they could be on the pod boss too, and nothing in swamp. But I believe we couldn't kill the boss.
Yeah, I didn't notice which boss it was. If it was Trinexx, then yeah, they would have had to dip out. Trinexx is the only boss that we currently can't... Oh, nope. 2 Pearl, 2 Furious doesn't have Bombos yet either, so they wouldn't be able to kill Cold Stare either. So yeah, Cold Stare. It was Cold Stare there, so...
No, and there's the Bombos. Ooh, Argus at the bomb Ice Palace. Okay. Trinexx is trying to take a quick death warp to get health back to go fight the boss. Scaryolive is about ready to get their lamp. Ooh, nice quick kill by Shady Force. For another bottle.
No, I sort of half wonder if we see... I haven't noticed on any of our runners' screens if any of them have gone all the way to the back of Thieves Town.
We have not. Everyone's just
Okay. Yeah, everyone just kills the blind that's right there available.
Now this would be a great time for Scaryolive to go back to find whatever's back there.
Yeah. Especially since they are sort of, running out of locations. It's a bit of a time investment to do the back of Thieves Town here, but they are looking for that fire rod, and the fewer things they have to find, the sort of more thorough they have to be.
And boom, we're going to have another blind fight. So everyone will have blind dead after this moment.
Yeah, I didn't quite notice how many items were in the front of Thieves Town, so I don't know for sure how many are hiding in the back.
I know at least a bloopy and the lamps in the front, and you get an item off of blind, so there should still be one item left.
Okay, so yeah, in that case, maybe Scaryolive doesn't head back there, because it's a time investment for one item. Shady Force, those rollers will get you. Yeah, no mail upgrades for any of these runners, so the Randomizer is still in full force here.
Trinexxes are blocking your way to the Helmus Arcane room. Horrible, horrible, horrible spot for them.
He gives up, uses Bombos. No shame that.
You have half magic. Do it.
You're gonna be a scary whatever this boss is fight, unless it's an easy boss, I guess.
Scaryolive is about to go get the bombos as well. No one else is going to save the old man for Team Two Pearl, Two Furious. And another bombos. Just do it. I mean, it's a screen wipe.
Yeah, at this point, I almost would have just gone down, lined myself up, and just done a key dash straight into the boss room, but...
Oh, nice.
It's just
Moldorm.
Doesn't want to take too many hits, but not a difficult boss.
And not with all the space you have here in the Helmus Arcane room.
Not going to be knocking you down anywhere.
Could be knocking to the spikes would be a pain in the butt, but, still a nice fight, just for a piece of heart. Only bombos in the dungeon, so Scaryolive will probably just get enough to go straight to the back, grab the bombos, and then go straight to the boss.
So, Dr. Marty now is heading north here. Might be going for Pyramid Catfish.
Yeah, if that's the case, the spoilers are back in it.
Yeah, because you have to imagine at this point they're going to gun it straight for Misery Mire.
Oh, for sure. That's the only place they haven't really checked overworld-wise. Trinexx is about to go into Mire itself.
I can't imagine Marty doesn't go to Catfish here since they've already looked at Pod.
And there's Mari goes.
Yeah, so that's gonna be big for them. So they're gonna probably head straight to Mire and find sort of the rest of the stuff they're missing. So they're gonna kind of be on even footing. They are an Ice Palace clear ahead as a team. But Scaryolive and Trinexx are both going to have finished Pod ahead of them. So it's kind of comes out in the wash. Although they have investigated Pod, so all they really have to do is go back and fight the boss.
So Dr. Mari is about to get the flute. We will see what's going on with Shady Force's stream and get that fixed here shortly. More likely, Shady Force is getting that information out and is on their way.
So Trinexx and Misery Mire, there are 2 items in here. We'll see what they are if we end up finding them.
Fire Rod will put them in good mode, but then they'll still be behind Boots.
Yeah, there are a lot of places where Boots can make up time.
Shady Force is going to go ahead and do the upper part of Hera and get that green pendant.
Yeah, and especially Boots without flute. If you have the boots without flute and flute without boots, it's like having boots without the flute helps you save a lot of time in the absence of flute. But once you have the flute, not having the boots isn't quite as big of a deal, since you can take those slightly more efficient paths. Whereas with the boots, you kind of have to consider when it's worth it to save and quit to get to a location faster than just going over the overworld. But yeah, with how early those boots showed up for them, they're definitely going to be saving a lot of time.
Yeah, Doc Mari's now finding the mirror, and will also shortly find the bow. And now both teams are on equal footing.
Yeah, the sort of nice thing here is Dr. Marty can't go straight into Misery Mire to clear it, but with that lamp can go and do Desert, which I imagine Trinexx is going to do after finishing Misery Mire here.
Yeah, Trinexx knows there's nothing on the right side. You can just grab that big key, mirror back out, and just go straight to the Lambo's room. Or whoever's in the Lambo's room. But we do have cutscene chests now.
Yeah, unfortunately, without the fire rod, it has to do it the slightly slower way. Shadyforce giving us a look into the top of the Tower of Hera. 2 chests up here, hoping that... well, that's not good news for Shadyforce there. Would have liked to see an item.
No, there is an item there, and it's just a piece of heart.
So I believe that puts the other item... Yeah, the other item is on the boss here.
Yep, which we can kill.
As well as the green pendant.
Yep. So that will be an item from Sharashla.
Which is especially convenient for Shadyforce, as that pod clear still needs to happen over there.
Oh, it's just a moth. Nice fight. 4 slashes of tempered. It's over. Just for $100. So Hera could be pointless.
As a Trinexx finishing off this full clear of Misery Mire, has one last check to do before heading for the boss.
No, it's Blue Mail.
Not what you're looking for, but it's not exactly something you complain about at this point.
Just to let the viewers know, we are going to have a sync since now Shadyforce is back. We're going to sync Shady back with everyone else. Because he's still in the past by minutes here. So don't be alarmed when everyone else freezes for a minute. Oh, that Spike was like, I must go, my people need me. I think that Spike's actually going to be in the boss room now. Oh, it's just a vey in the desert. Kind of French vanilla.
So interestingly, Doc Marty here hasn't actually decided to clear desert first and didn't get the arrow, or the bow, rather. Still manages to take down Vitreous pretty quickly.
Alright, so Doc Mari now has 2 crystals. Man, we're kind of low on crystals considering how much we have, but we are looking for that fire rod. Both team... Wait, did Mari not go to...
Oh, Marty didn't go...
Cave?
Either that or we did have we might have had a tracker lapse there. It seems really odd to find the mirror in Mire Shed and not go and check
Oh my goodness, that could be devastating.
we'll have to wait and see. The next time Marty opens the menu.
Yeah, we are being told by Ricky, our tracker. He mirrored right outside Marsha and did DP. He completely blanked on Checkerboard Cave. That could be a playoff, like, elimination play right there.
Yeah, that's there is the chance of the second bow bailing them out. With how much of the game we've cleared at this point, that's seeming less and less likely.
Well, Shadyforce might go check it now.
Yeah, Shadyforce is probably going to check it. Because Shadyforce is probably at this point going to be saying, "Hey, did you so what was in Checkerboard Cave?" Which would remind Marty that it hadn't been checked.
And Too Pearl, Too Furious without checking Old Man yet. Again, these boots are going to play a massive role here, and Shadyforce is going to go straight into Meyer.
Yeah, that makes sense for Shadyforce to do this, because with Ice Palace and Misery Mire, that gives us the 5/6 crystals, so that opens up Pyramid Fairy for them. Whereas Marty hasn't done Ice Palace yet, so that play made significantly less sense. Especially when you're not in go mode, you still want to do new checks as much as possible. And now we do see both Scaryolive and Trinexx heading into Swamp Palace to hopefully kill Cold Stare at the bottom.
Scaryolive has already cleared this dungeon, so we'll be going straight to the back.
Yeah, and I imagine Trinexx will as well, having seen nothing of value really within it.
Oh, we still haven't seen Zora.
Yeah, Zora is still available. We're running out of places for that that fire rod to be hanging out.
One item left in Thief Sound. We have the green pin to turn in.
We still haven't seen the Turtle Rock dive yet. It's just kind of a comedy of errors in a way. Just the way that every time somebody went in there, they were missing, one of the things that they would have needed to make that check happen. Whoever went up there with Quake didn't have Samaria, and whoever went up there with Samaria didn't have Quake. Looks like everybody has both of those items now.
I know, everyone's just looking for that fire rod. Whichever team finds fire rod first will be
Speaking of, unfortunately, Dr. Marty is the one heading into Swamp Palace here, and Dr. Marty is the only one who doesn't have Bombos yet.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that is...
Because being the first one on their team heading down there, they have no idea that it's Cold Stare waiting at the bottom.
Ooh, all this is rough. Anyway, going to use Bombos on Cold Stare, then this fight just becomes super easy with Tempered Sword.
And it could very well be the Fire Rod here.
It'll be, nice. Nice grouping, nice triple kill there at the very end, and it's a green bottle.
Notably the first bottle for that team as a whole.
No, they've got them bottles.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah.
That's the first one on the tracker.
Yeah. Trinexx has a bottle from Eastern.
Oh yeah, that's right. The one that they both found and used to turn in Sick Kid.
Yep. All right. So save the old man. Save the old man in the mountain. You want to do it. This might be it. Nope, this is not it. This might be Spiral Cave. No, wait, this is the old man.
Yep, remembering that hasn't been done yet.
So this actually will put both teams on equal footing, because you have no idea how much space you can cover in dungeons with the boots.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate because it's going to be a little hard to, do you really send Trinexx up there just to get the boots right away, or do you try to keep covering more ground, even though not having the boots is going to be slowing you down a little bit. Because going up there for just the boots is a little bit of a hard call to make. Though, given that they do have 2 pendant dungeons to dive into up there, we might see it happen. You know, I'll take one, you take the other, and if nothing else, we both get the boots out of it.
That's because Shadyforce does have the green pendant. We can see if the fire rod's there. Trinexx still has to go get their temper sword out of Super Bunny Cave, so we'll probably see Trinexx.
Oh yeah, that would definitely make sense then.
All right, looks like we're back. Everyone's back together. Shadyforce is about ready to do the Cane and Burnus strats on Armos here. If I would hazard a guess. 1 eyeball's down for Cold Stare. 2 eyeballs down for Cold Stare. 3!
Yeah, really?
Ha ha ha!
Really unfortunate for Shadyforce, not knowing where those that bow is. That's a costly lapse there. Not checking Checkerboard Cave. You'd think that's a gimme when you find the mirror in that position.
Yep. But hey, you know, again, the spoilers, they are probably in a high-stress situation right now. They know they are 1 win away from guaranteed to be in playoffs. And when you're stressed, you forget things.
Yeah, or the other opportunity is, you know, they're not 1 item away from go mode. So it's very possible that they decide, hey, you know, we need to find a couple items. We need to cover more ground than just doing that, you know. Shadyforce probably going to pick it up before too long here, maybe after Desert.
You would hope. You would have to hope, unless Mari was like, oh yeah, I checked it was nothing.
Yeah, I feel like that doesn't quite happen as much in co-op, because when you're directly asked, you need to feel pretty confident that you did in fact check something in order to, you know, like really trick yourself into thinking you actually did it. So that can happen if you're doing a lot of practice runs.
Yeah, Trinexx is going to go ahead and do boots checks now, like King's Tomb, Bonk Rocks. They probably feel like they are so far behind because of how late they got those boots.
Yeah, people can tend to, though, overestimate the power that the boots have. It does make you quite fast, but in certain situations, it's not necessarily as worth it as you might think to go out of your way to get them. You know, if you do your checks efficiently, if you have good routing, and you get what you need when you need it, not having the boots can sometimes not really matter all that much. On the other hand, given how long both of these teams have been searching for Fire Rod, the boots are definitely going to be making a difference in cleaning up a lot of these checks.
Yep. Both teams are now 1 item way, well, depending on if the spoils go back to the bow.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing that in a minute or two here, as soon as Shadyforce finishes up Vitreous here. Vitreous.
I like that pronunciation.
Yeah, it's I've been saying it like that my whole life, and I recently found out it's wrong. And that's kind of unfortunate for me, but, you know, what are you going to do?
Is Trinexx going to finish Eastern? We saw all 3 items in Eastern, right?
I don't know. I wasn't paying that close of attention to Eastern, but
so we found the bottle. We found. Okay, he just walked in, walked out. So
yeah, maybe deciding that that wasn't the play to go for in the event that since Scaryolive now just picked up the green pendant. Now Scaryolive, if they do still have an item in Eastern, or they think they do, can
Oh,
turn that in at that point.
Shadyforce not fleeing away. Shadyforce is going back in the mirror.
Yeah, so Shadyforce is going to find that bow, and is going to be a little upsetting for Dr. Marty here.
No, Scaryolive is going to use that boot to get through Spiral Cave. This could be it. While this is going on, we got Spike Cave going on in Dr. Mari's corner. Oh, it's only for a piece of heart.
Spike Cave is
300 bucks.
300 rupees.
Hey, you know that Zora creature?
Yeah,
thingy.
Zora's Lumen. Scaryolive does have a Turtle Rock check to take a gander at, and then I imagine probably over to Spike Cave after that.
Well, we should probably explain Turtle Rock without Fire Rod.
Yeah. So in the front of Turtle Rock, there are 3 checks available before you unlock the first door. 2 of them are locked behind the fire rod, so you can't go any further in the dungeon if that first chest is not a small key. If it is, then you have the option of skipping those 2 chests and continuing on in the dungeon to Chain Chomp Room. If that's a key, then you can keep going, and it can turn a slightly quick check into a very costly dive if what you need isn't in there.
No, there has been a siege where the fire rod was found on Laser Bridge.
Yeah, I actually earlier this week commentated a match where the boss of Turtle Rock was Argus, and the required hookshot was on the way, and they were able to fully clear the dungeon without ever picking up the fire rod. Just that had a very specific key layout, and it was you don't see that very often.
A good friend of mine, Revolver Ocelot, who does a lot of commentaries, will always bring up the retro. One of his first commentaries, it was a retro seed that had both ice and fire rods on Laser Bridge. So yeah,
it's not impossible. It's not logically banned, but it is it's unlikely enough that it's a really hard play to make until it's your last choice. Well, it looks like we did see that small key, and Scaryolive is continuing onward.
All right, so
Chain
Chain
Chomp is not as dangerous.
I love non-dangerous Chain Chomp Room. There's our big key, and that's where we're stopping. We can't get any farther without the fire rod. That's
usually what I like to see in that dungeon. Like if I'm making that fire rodless dip, I like to see a non-small key in one of the first 2 chests, just because it means, okay, yep, that's it. You're not going any further here.
So we'll probably see Scaryolive go to Eastern here soon to turn in that green pendant. Or what's this play?
Probably Spike Cave.
Ah, yes. So both teams are looking for the fire rod for go mode. We are very close to that, and the spoilers. Shadyforce is about ready to clear dungeon number 5. So the second we do find that fire rod, the Shadyforce is just 1 dungeon clear away from just going straight to the end. And actually, Trinexx is about ready to be in the same situation. But this is still anyone's game. This is going to be close.
Yeah, it's really all down to where that fire rod actually shows up. It's even if it is on Sahasrara here, that's going to be still a pretty close game, because each team has 1 person who's cleared the dungeon and 1 person who hasn't.
Yep. But if you know how to do Hero Pot, your teammates have already told you there's nothing in the big chest. But Dr. Mario has finished Pod. Shady has finished Swamp. And now
Trinexx is about to finish Ice Rod, or Ice Palace here. Just
Single arrow on Sharashula. That's not, wow, that's Pyramid Fairy then,
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah, and the other thing too is we know that it can't be on the pedestal because we know that Turtle Rock it cannot be cleared without the fire rod.
True, true. So Pyramid Fairy and Zora. That no one has done in 1 hour and 1 minute into this seed.
Yeah, Shady Force picking up the bomb. It looks like Scaryolive is heading into Eastern.
I still want to say we found all 3 items here.
Yeah, it's possible we saw all of them on one side, but not the other.
I mean, you had to check every chest to get to the big key chest.
I don't know. Maybe
like I'm so confused by
maybe
this.
there is still one, but they weren't able to. Well, no, because you can go back in Randomizer. There's no real reason you need the bow. Yeah, it looks like that early big key. About to see the Pyramid Fairy from Shady Force here. This is actually not a bad spot because it's pretty easy to check Zora from here too.
First chest is a piece of art, and then this no. Oh my, oh my. What should we go and do? It has to be Zora now. I can't think of any of the checks we haven't done.
Yeah, it could be book for Fire on a tablet.
Yeah, but either way, Trinexx is about ready to tell us what's on Zora. Zora has to be progression, I have to think.
Yeah, I'm less sure about that, but only because I doubt my own memory of what we have and haven't seen from all 40 screens.
Now, Catfish was Flute, which was big.
Yeah, that led to Mirror and our bow.
Shady Force is about ready to be 1 dungeon away from being able to beat the game, just looking for that Fire Rod. I have to say, this is either going to be Fire Rod or Book. There's the Fire Rod!
That's Go Mode.
Yeah, that's 2 Pearl, 2 Furious. At 103, Go Mode. Scaryolive is about ready to go get that. Man, that Zora has been available since minute 3.
Yeah, it's just not a lot of early game large rupee drops.
Alright, so Trinexx has to do Desert, Trinexx has to do Skull Woods. Game's not over yet.
Yeah, but Skull Woods and Desert are the easiest dungeons to clean up.
Yeah.
And Scaryolive is interesting to decide to do Ice Palace with the Bombos rather than the Fire Rod, but
can just go switch it in.
Yeah, I mean, in Randomizer, you really only need to use it the once, so you're not saving a whole lot of time by going and getting the Fire Rod first.
Well, and this is just going to be a Go Mode dungeon. We're just going to see Icebreaker, and Scaryolive is just going to drop all the way down to the bottom. And then Scaryolive will get the Fire Rod. Probably do Mire Desert together.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Fire Desert together, and then go to Skull Woods after Trinexx has an opportunity here to. I don't know what the lowdown is on the dungeon though. In this scenario, it's not really a whole lot to say about Skull Woods.
Well, we can't find Trinexx here, which is, good news for us. Which means we haven't fought Trinexx yet. So that early Ice Rod wasn't too important. We still might find Trinexx and Moldorm 2 if we have to get there. Or, of course, everyone loves Ice Trinexx. That was such a big hit yesterday. Or the day before, 1 to 2 days. Gyptos and Skull Woods? What is this? Randomized? Is this even randomized? Alright, dropping down is going to be Lambos.
Yeah, this is probably the worst arena for any boss. There's no boss that is made any better by being fought in Skull Woods.
And especially if you have Armos and you drop down from the top part of the hole.
I'd say the only one I would say is probably Moldorm. Because Moldorm just doesn't know what to do with this room, and just kind of flails around wildly and just sits in place as kind of a sitting duck. But other than that, this is a pretty rough arena to fight any boss in. Not a problem for Trinexx there though, so takes care of that. Slides over a little bit while spinning the sword, and ready to go to desert.
Yeah, and then more than likely Trinexx will be our first runner to be moving towards GT, so we'll be playing our favorite game here in about a couple minutes after, I guess, Trinexx goes to the bathroom.
Yeah, not sure what this is. Maybe waiting for Scaryolive to finish the dungeon for some reason?
No, this is probably a bathroom break.
Maybe.
Like, dude, I can't hold it any longer. Like, for real, I can't hold it any longer. I'll be right back.
Yeah, it's strange to think that. I mean, I guess as far as they're concerned, they don't have anything to fight for in this match themselves. They're only looking to play spoiler, to the spoilers. So yeah, I suppose that's a reasonable play to make. If this is going to be your last match in the season, hey, may as well be comfortable for the end of it. You don't have anything to gain by not taking a bathroom break. Shadyforce in the back of Eastern. Yeah, so in the end, this race has mostly come down to that important Zora location. We had the flippers early, but we didn't have money early, which sort of meant that in terms of finding that Zora item, it made a lot more sense given how much progression we found early to just skip that Zora check rather than, banking on it being important and wasting time going for it earlier. You ended up with all of our runners finding it very, very late.
Yeah, no, this has been crazy to see. Sorry, I'm back. We do find our first duplicate boss, Lamos and Eastern. We'll see what important item was left behind here by both runners. A piece of art!
Yeah, not what shadyforce is looking for there.
I'm surprised Dark Mari's still continuing in the dungeon.
Yeah, are they thinking that maybe there's something on Ped?
It can't be something on Ped. One of them just ran through Turtle Rock and found that out.
Yeah, so yeah, they have been to Turtle Rock, correct?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm kind of confused about this, and I mean this is a game the spoilers need to win to guarantee playoffs because they're not guaranteed yet.
I wonder if it's possible they think they checked Zora.
Nice quick kill. Oh, that wasn't a quick kill. There was one left. I thought that was a quick kill.
All right. So it looks like after brief technical issues, we've got our commentary stream back up at the very least. So we've got Trinexx heading into the back of Desert Palace to fight the final boss of the seed. Well, no, I guess not the final boss, but the final crystal boss of the seed. Vitreous here.
Yep, and after this, we'll be playing our favorite counting game because here at SpeedGaming, we appreciate our arithmetics. All right. Still without the Temper Sword, though. I know Trinexx will grab the Temper Sword on their way to GT, but that's just funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, in terms of going all the way over there for the tempered sword when grabbing the boots, if you're confident enough in your master sword strats, it really isn't going to save you that much time.
Yeah. But hey, all we got left to do is go fight Ganon. In order to get to Ganon, we have to get through his tower. There's 22 locations. The big key of his tower is located. In chat right now, put your guess between 1 and 22 to be playing our big key guessing game. The winner, of course, will be gaining some... Esmard!
He kept taking my numbers.
The winner of the game, the guessing game, will win points to go into the leaderboard. So good luck, everyone. Yeah, Trinexx is now going to get that tempered sword.
Yeah, and again, given where that tempered sword was, it does make sense to skip it. You do want it by the end of the game, but you know that you can grab it on the way up to Ganon's tower. So if you're sure it won't save you that much time before that point, just leave it.
All right. Looks like we are going to see what else is in Thieves Town. Oh, man. It always happens. Sometimes a location is completely skipped. I don't know what's going on with the restream. It looks like we're trying to get everything synced back up.
Yeah, in terms of the stream, or not the stream, the seed, where that that fire rod is, the spoiler's wondering where the heck it's going to show up. We're gonna have to ask if they forgot about that or if it was a simple last location, because sometimes you have to pick one of those spots and it's like, okay, well, this is going to be the last one we check.
Yeah, no.
And
I mean,
Zora is fairly common for that, especially when you get to take a peek at Zora Ledge early on.
No, and the runners are in the same dungeon because they're just double downing it. Like, they have no other ideas where it could be. The 11 points are going to go to the winner, and Trinexx is going left this time. So number 1 will be the torch, and the torch only has 20 rupees. Yeah, Trinexx has tempered now. Did grab it. I mean, it was a free tempered.
Yeah, it's usually a little faster to actually to go up Paradox Cave and take the Turtle Rock portal to get to Ganon's tower, but if there's a sword waiting for you in Super Bunny Cave, that's what you're taking. Looks like nothing in chests 2, 3, 4, or 5.
But we did find the cape, which is a nice safety item. Oh, okay. Well, the spoilers are going to get the bad news at the same time.
And looks like 6 and 7 are also both out on the Ganon's Tower big key hunt.
So
running right past a potential 8 there.
And we do apologize here to SpeedGaming for all the technical issues. We've been having a lot of games go on, including our marathon so far this week and today. No, we haven't plugged following the runners yet. But before that, 8 is nothing. Spoilers are in joint go mode. 9 is nothing.
Man,
that's 10. I saw someone brag about it. Oh.
Lucky number 10. So yeah, GG to Zach JP for that for guessing 10 and being lucky. As Trinexx begins the Ganon's Tower ascent, Scaryolive going to be a couple minutes behind, going straight right side for that big key, since we did see a small key in the right side Hope Room. So that's a very good location to find it. A very good key layout for the second player to go up the tower here. Yeah, Trinexx equipping that cape just in case this room is a little less kind. Wasn't too bad though.
All right, and I do know we do have Misery Mire done also for Scaryolive because that was Armos. I did see Scaryolive fight Armos. But Trinexx is blazing through this gauntlet. It's been a pretty easy gauntlet so far.
Yeah, the Gauntlet is one of the Ganon's Tower is kind of an interesting location in Randomizer. It's either particularly terrible or relaxingly free. I remember the first Randomizer I ever played. It was a big pain in the butt in the beginning, but then Ganon's Tower was full of nice, easy enemies to leisurely take care of. And we're gonna come up on another boss here. Another cold stare. Not the greatest, but you know, we do take those.
It's easy. I mean, it's going to be a little bit laggy with the turret there, but that's our second duplicate boss. We won't see a Trinexx this seed.
We've been seeing a Trinexx all seed.
Yeah, we won't. We will not be seeing Trinexx Spirit because there can't be one at Moldorm 2.
Yeah, but the Trinexx we have been seeing just takes out Cold Stare there and continues on the climb, about halfway done. Unfortunately, these Kingdom of Samaria strats are not going to be of much use here.
Still useful to know where the floor is.
That goes for the Bombos in the second Wizard room.
Ah, it doesn't get the levers because they weren't technically out of the dungeon, out of the floor yet.
Yeah, not a huge issue. You can just swipe those with that Tempered Sword. And yeah, the instant dash doesn't always work out quite as well on that Hellway. Or it's not much of a Hellway, but takes a fall for his hubris there. Yeah, meanwhile, Scaryolive picking up the final crystal and about to follow Trinexx up Ganon's tower.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
silvers. Trinexx Galaxy braining those silvers right there.
yeah, that's not a if you're going to be checking some chests on the climb, that's going to be one that most of the time you see some people check. Just cuz you know, it's closer to the door, it's probably less than a second out of your way to pick it up. So it's if you find the silvers in there, you know, it's going to be saving you time. It's sometimes not worth it if you suspect the race might be close to go ahead and open every chest. You know, because if none of them are silvers and your opponent skips them all, you're kind of just losing time.
All right, doing bomb tracks on Helmet Star King here. Oh, don't fall. But gets a
Yeah,
silver to the side of the head to kill it. Nice fight there.
yeah.
Shadyforce is also in GT.
The bombs there are kind of the better strat for that boss fight in that location. Yeah, Shady Force, the second runner into GT. Unfortunately, Dr. Marty still has Mire and Swamp to clear up, as well as Skull Woods. So,
Wait, did Scaryolive do Skull Woods?
yes, Gary Olive had just finished Skull Woods
Okay.
a little second, just a second ago, in the boss arena holding the crystal. Misses
Now,
the triple on Argus or Aghanim 2.
gets another double there, though.
Yeah, so should just need one more hit. Nope.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
misses the triple. Misses the triple. So
there we
yeah,
go.
one of those hits must have not quite counted.
And Trinexx is going to be our first run to go into the Ganon fight.
Yeah, as much as people like to complain about ice rod hunts, I always feel like fire rod hunts are more insulting. And I feel like I see them more often too. Um, just there's always so many things that are potentially locked behind it that once you finally find it, you have so much to do still.
All right, Trinexx is now in phase 3. Just got one more hit before we have the Silvers fight here. And now Scaryolive is doing the climb.
Yeah, it picks up the one key there, so has enough to complete the entire climb. Just a few screens behind shadyforce. Ooh, Trinexx almost gets the triple hit on there.
Oh, yeah, no, get your GGs in chat for Trinexx. Great time for this run. We'll be finishing here in just a few seconds with an official race time.gg time of 1 hour, 22 seconds. 22 minutes and 2 seconds. Too many twos.
1:22:02.
So this now puts a timer on shadyforce. If shadyforce can wrap this up here quickly and Scaryolive takes a few more of those deaths there without having fairies. Remember, this is the average time between the runners. So it's up to Scaryolive to just lock in the average time now while shadyforce is racing through the dungeon as Dr. Mari has finished Meyer.
Yeah, a first and third, second and fourth split between the two teams isn't a guaranteed victory for the team that took first. Provided that third place is far enough behind second place, I believe. Well, no, I think even then it would still the average time would still skew.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not looking good for the spoilers.
It doesn't look good
put it
for
that way.
spoilers, which they need this win to lock in playoffs. If they don't win, basically what being pointed out by Zelga in chat, first and fourth, like that's when it will come down to averages. But yeah,
Yeah. So if somehow Scaryolive manages to finish after shadyforce and Dr. Marty Zero, then
which could
then
happen.
we got to do some math. It could happen. The guard giving Scaryolive a rough time there.
That's another fairy. Okay, that's
Another fairy. Maybe was doing that on purpose just to
things
get that get the health back in. Can pick up another fairy in this next room here.
But yeah, so what does this mean for the spoilers if they lose today? They still have a chance for playoffs. They're not locking it in.
It's out of their hands if they lose this match. It's depending on what happens in the rest of the division.
Ooh, Triple Diamond Disaster did get the win today. So Triple Diamond Disaster did lock that playoff spot. And it looks like it'll come down to if I Like Big Boots can beat the last locationers, I Like Big Boots will eliminate the spoilers from playoffs. So that was the big tiebreaker from earlier today. Not earlier, yesterday. Because I Like Big Boots will end up having 28 points with the same amount of wins than the spoilers. So yeah, we're not done yet. And of course, later on today at 7:10, our last invitational match to decide Basically, if Double Dippers or Digichecker Boot will
Ooh,
into
Shady Force falls falls on the Helmasaur fight and falls
oh
onto the spikes. Luckily, he had the fairy, but
yeah,
that's
that was a
kind of gross.
that was a more combat, kind of fatality there,
Yeah, that's some slapstick there.
Oh, and falls again. We now have Troll Asaur King instead of Troll Dorm.
And it's exactly because of that knockback that it's you see a lot of people go for the bombs here. It's a little finicky, but if you get knocked back vertically with the hammer there going for that, the chances are a lot higher that you're going to take another hit or something and end up falling down into that pit.
Man, I remember when I was growing up, I had no. Oh no, Scary Olive Falls. I had no idea how the hammer worked on Helmsar King, and I actually did do bomb strats growing up. Looks like Doc Mari just has to beat Swamp Palace here.
The other day I commentated a match that Andy was playing, and of course there's you know uh Helmasaur King 2 here at the top of Ganon's tower. And Andy just went, yeah, Andy just hovered. Wasn't interested in the fight.
We gotta get rid of those hover boots from Link to Past. They only belong in Ocarina of Time. I wonder if Nintendo came up with that idea because someone during testing for Link to Past was like, "Hey, look what you could do with the boots."
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. I highly doubt it. It's a pretty specific thing. Um,
Yeah.
but
Well, I mean, it's
I
something.
okay, knowing Nintendo, can you still do it in the GBA port?
No. Well, because
Okay.
yeah.
That
Well,
makes it more like if you could still do it in the GBA port, I feel like there's no way that Nintendo ever found out about it before Ocarina of Time, because if they find out
I
about it, they're gonna take that right out.
I'm actually not sure now that I'm thinking about it. Because I know a lot's taken out of the GBA port because the GBA port's basically like the American version 1.1 with a bit of extra stuff like Gold Sword can now break pots. Like, um, they actually fixed Minute Cave. So you know what's the issue with Mimic Cave, right?
Remind me.
It's a light world location, right? What enemies are inside it?
Oh yeah, the mimics.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's what you mean by fixing it.
So in the GBA version, it's Igor Cave. Oh, by the way, get your GGs in chat for Shady Force.
Yeah, at this point, we're not too concerned about that Tempered Sword Silver's fight, but GG's to Shady Force anyway.
Is going to be the first one to finish for the spoilers with the time of 1:29:09, and now Scary Olive is also on the fight.
Yeah, I managed to catch up during that Helmasaur King fight.
Shady Forces in chat like 1G's enough. I won. And Mari's now going to GT. And Scary Olive is now on phase 3. We'll be wrapping things up soon, which will actually just go ahead and give Two Pearls, Two Furious the win.
Yeah, Marty lagging this far behind is not looking good. How many Ganon falls do you think it would take?
Too many to we don't even talk about. When you have slivers, you don't worry about that stuff. However, if you do get hit by that fire bat and mess up, that's when you start worrying. But yeah, Give GG's in chat. Considering all of it is about ready to finish the game as Mari is going to enter GT. Once this fanfare is done. And that's going to be a 130. 1 second. I lost it. 130.56, which will give 2 Pearl, 2 Furious an average time of 126.29.
Yeah, the Doc Marty looks like is going to finish off the end of the game. Going through Ganon's tower here.
Shouldn't take too long for Mari to get through here. Knows where everything is, knows what's ahead of him. Does have blue mail. I'm surprised. That's probably why Scaryolive fell a few times without the blue mail, and everything just hits a little bit harder.
Yeah, the blue mail I believe was in
Meyer Big Chest.
Big Chest of Meyer, yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see
if we saw 2 runners pick that up. I think Shady and Trinexx both picked it up.
Because they were for clearing it, looking for the fire rod.
Yeah.
Looks like we're going to get at least Trinexx in here. See if we can also get Scaryolive.
What up?
GG Scary, GG's Trinexx. Way to be the spoiler today. Being the spoilers.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure what the implication is at this point. I'm not sure if everyone's done yet, but there's been a lot of matches today. It's kind of hard to tell exactly if we were, in fact, the spoilers yet.
So, right now the spoilers are hoping the last locationers win. Like, they're now the last locationers' best friends, because if last locationers lose, the team they're against, like, completely blanking on their name, will have 28 points.
The boots, the big boots.
The boots.
I like big boots.
Yeah, and they just tied a couple of days ago, so it will be a close one. It will be an insane one, and it will probably be one to watch, because the spoilers, they had a chance to lock in their playoffs today. Unfortunately for them, they had a great fight. None of you guys wanted to go to Zora. What was with Zora that you guys did not want to go to it?
Well, first off, before we talk about Zora, I wanted to say that we finished off strongly, Olive and I, and I'm pretty happy with how it goes. So, as such, I want to give a very celebratory.
That was grape soda, right?
It was beer, heavy alcohol. Definitely something that will go well for the end of the season.
Yeah, let's remind everyone this is PG-13, and let's not brag about beer here.
Beer is not beer references are PG-13. It's adult beverage, but anyways, yeah. Because when we did the first season of the league, way back when, in 2010, we just, that was just for fun, and we played all our matches heavily drunk. But now it's getting more competitive, and so. When the Invitational League and everything, it's the pressure. We want to do good, and but now we could relax and get some fun, since we knew it didn't matter for us. That was great.
Yeah, I think it was after Skull Woods. I had to take a short break because I had too many to drink early on. So
that's exactly what we were thinking on the restream. And that's exactly the reason why, this is your last game no matter what. What have you got to lose? If you're gonna go out, you may as well go out on an empty bladder.
If I lost for a few seconds because of that, I would have been perfectly okay with it.
Right.
No, you dominated. You beat everyone by 7 minutes.
No, I did not dominate. Olive found everything. I just had to do the thing. That was it. Olive found literally everything in the seed. And that was basically it.
Except the fire rod. But I was the one that told him, hey, you should go check Zora, because he was going to go in Turtle Rock in Thieves Town. I was like,
man, that
Zora.
Speaking of that Zora, it really was, from my perspective, kind of a rough choice to do Zora at any point because everything else in that area was available so early, but all of the big rupee drops were later on. So it's hard to justify getting enough money to check them early.
Yeah, I think that I did not even have money for Zora until after I did Pod and did the whole rupee basement.
You got your money by grabbing that last chest in Swamp.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, since we got the flippers early, I checked like the flipper stuff super early. Didn't have the money, and I always like to do catfish fast because nobody likes to go to catfish. And being that was done, we didn't have any reason to go back to Zora until ice, I guess, and that's what happened. But I guess the flute early really helped us because the mirror it unlocked and everything. So. And the bow.
Yeah, the flute early helped.
extension.
That was something that the spoilers ended up last locationing.
Yeah.
The spoilers.
Yeah, when you guys found that, I was really concerned for them for that exact reason because that's like Zora. That's an easy location to put off.
I've never
way,
understand
way
why
too long.
people when they do Hype Cave they have you have a choice of 2 items of Stumpy and the digging game or Pyramid and Catfish. Everybody always go to Stumpy and digging game, and it seems to me like the worst choice of both because you can do Stumpy and the other this digging game right after Thieves Town or whatever, and you can there's never a good way to do Pyramid and Catfish.
Yeah, I sort of get it. If you do those beforehand, then you don't have to. Then you have the opportunity of doing like the really really fast Smith chain. But
Yeah,
you
you can
there
incorporate,
aren't really any other opportunities to go do Catfish unless you do it with the entire like North Dark World loop.
Yeah, and that's I'm
I'm a fan of Catfish too. I like to get it out of the way because it's really hard to justify going back for it if you miss your chance.
So it was the first in the Dark World, so that was his call to make that there. But I personally don't like doing digging game with the Smith chain. Because it just feels
digging
awkward
game for sure.
It just feels awkward to go down there first and come back up. So I usually just try to get that out first.
Yeah, I feel like that's
teammate.
one of the primary reasons for taking that route is you get the digging game out of the way. You don't have to worry about it with Smith or Purple Chest following you.
All right, so Dark Mari takes an unfortunate death to Ganon. No fairy. Okay, well, that's fine. You got through GT, so now you just got to draw back in and fight Ganon for real this time.
Randomizer.
Could you imagine they changed for Randomizer, like how this boss fight goes completely? Like,
I would say one of the biggest freshest errors in Randomizer is Aga 2 into Ganon being exactly the same as normal. So it's just like you kind of phase back into your regular muscle memory.
All right. I know it's a little early, but we do have Dr. Mari and shadyforce join us. GG's guys. Sorry, things couldn't have been better for you guys.
Oh, hang on, guys. I'm trying to concentrate here. Again.
Funny. Oh, did you just shoot an ice run at the door?
No, I did not. Your eyes are all playing tricks on you.
It was a nice cannon position he got, though. Almost.
That's what it was. It was the manip. If you try to lay it with the ice rod again, and gives you a good position, like 3/10.
Exactly. RNG manip. It's always RNG manip. Leaving Zora to last, that was also RNG manip.
Dude, GG's in chat. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So the one question I have for you guys: what happened with Checkerboard Cave? Was that an intentional skip, or did you just forget to check it the first time you went to that area?
I think when I got there first, I found the mirror in Meyer Shed.
Yep.
Went straight to desert, and then just sort of forgot about it. I realized that we had access to Swamp then, and that was a good item dense location, and all the other little places that we were meant to go back to sort of faded into the background.
I think it was one of those cases where, like, when we arrived in the area, you don't have a mirror, so it's not on your radar of places to check. You're thinking, oh, we'll do Meyer, and then when you get the mirror, you just forget to add it in. I guess, and then we remembered afterwards when I got
Yeah,
to the
well, I
area.
mean, good thing you remembered afterwards because the other bow was at the top of GT.
Yeah.
I had a hard
Yeah,
time
that was one
finding
of
that
3
one.
items we got way later than we wanted to.
It was rough.
Yeah, it's kind of rough to have big items like that, especially flute locking, mirror, and bow, on Catfish and Zora respectively with a not very rich early seed. It's really easy to last location those.
Yeah, I think for our routing personally, we were really putting off Ice Palace because we kept finding bosses that weren't Trinexx. And so with that fire rod missing, we just didn't want to go to Ice Palace to get locked out of the boss, which is the worst place to have a bounce.
Yeah.
It's lucked out.
Even
You
with
guys-
even with that early cane, Ice Palace is still by far the longest dungeon to go to the bottom of again.
You guys also lucked out without finding any of our favorite 3-headed dragons anywhere.
Yeah, it had been like an Ice Trinexx then, or some of the other pendant
Yeah,
bosses.
Ice
that are-
Trinexx or Vanilla Trinexx, those are the
Yeah.
only bosses we didn't see.
And then the other one
Yeah,
being
Ice Trinexx,
Yeah.
Vanilla Trinexx, and 2 Pearl 2 Furious Trinexx. 3 Trinexxes in this seed.
I don't think that's full of boss randomizer, but yeah.
it's full boss. It's full boss, yeah. Sorry, I'm already watching SG5 right now. Last location versus like Big Boots. I'm sorry, I just can't get enough. Of
Your
Leaf.
fate is in their hands right now.
Yeah, I think we're all watching that right now.
Well, I'm watching that, and I'm liking this crystal lead. I don't know much about the seed, but I'm liking it.
Oh man.
But I
Oh,
think,
they are
I think
Yeah.
just before this race, I think Olive was really wanting to get a win here, just because the whole you knocking out Olive and Oase during the
The
co-op
co-op.
tournament there. Yep.
Gotta have a revenge here.
Oh
Tried our
yeah,
best.
that's right. They get a little bit of revenge. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so storylines outside of just the league itself.
And I say
Where are
that
we
I've been holding a
What?
grudge against Scaryolive for about 3 years after he put me out of one of my first tournaments.
Yeah, that's true.
Finally got some back on you.
Yeah, well, it's a tie, so
It's a tie now.
So
Okay,
wait,
we'll have another match.
now just the WWE all of a sudden? What?
for next season, we're both not gonna be in the open. We're still being invited next year, so it's gonna continue.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I hope you don't
Next-
make the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe next year you
Aw.
Ouch. Wow. Wow. Ooh, that hurts. Well, I know who I'm rooting for now.
Oh,
Calling
GG,
my
yeah.
French Lin to the mic. All right, yeah, for us it's over. It was a fun. Thank you to SpeedGaming and Fear and everybody that helped in any ways, like commentator or statistics or Synac or whatever, and the racers. And yeah, looking forward for season 4, and I guess it's starting next week. It's soon,
Oh, yeah?
I heard.
Playoff starts next. Season 4 is starting next week. Yeah, we always start season 4 with the playoffs going on for season
At the same time, yes.
Hey, more rando, more fun.
We should just cancel the playoffs anyway. Nobody pays any
And, I
attention.
mean, Dren is going 14-0. Basically, just said, yeah, it's over. All right. Well, GG's guys. Don't forget to give all of our runners a follow. Don't forget to shout out to our trackers. Ricky of Kokiri does a lot of great tracking work for SG. Thanks to Esmar for joining me today at such last notice moment. I don't know. I've done too many commentaries the last few days. I'm losing my English capabilities.
And big shout outs to Duodeca for the restream here. Lots of last minute little kerfuffles that were navigated with relative ease, similar to Chunky Kong crushing a boulder.
No, it might be wintertime right now and almost the holidays, but the fire that's been going on around us while we just been drinking our coffee saying this is fine. Anyway,
But yeah, I think that'll do it for this restream. We have some other things going on right now, like the I Like Big Brutes versus Last Locationers going on right now on Speed Gaming 5.
you're saying that like not everyone here is watching that already.
Yeah, and we've also got another game. I don't know if it's getting a stream right now, but on Speed Gaming 2, we have one at 7:10 Eastern.
No, that one's getting streamed. That's the big one. That's going to be the big one for the Misery Mire division. Just like how the one going on right now is big for this division. I can't think of your guys' divisions.
Yeah, so this is going to be a big day. We got to wrap up the regular season before playoffs and get all those spots locked up. But for right now, that'll do it here. So I've been Esmar.
I've been Kachuri, and may the Triforce be with all you guys, and have a great night.